Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Alistair, bringing in this cold winter morning with the Andor episode watch. We're probably not gonna do it like a scene by scene, but it will be a lot of them just because of how it is. And usually, when you're watching it, you wouldn't really notice everything anyway. And for the sake of a normal conversation afterwards, you would just kind of confer with other people and have that conversation. Kind of like you were getting like a tour of a vacation or a school or a building or something. Oh yeah, they had really nice wallpaper. Or their break room was pretty nice. But if you were to watch along, it would be the scene, and then like right after it, I'll be talking about most of it before what I mentioned or what I see really. That's really about how my sentences start. What I saw or remembered in my headspace. At least on these first two, it's mostly like visual and audio. There is a unspoken story, but it's more like where like everyone's like free to assume things and pull everything that they remember from like other stuff together, but only like as it comes along. And as I say that, and as the episode's starting up, I'm reminded of like all these times I was like in the big city, and you're here for one reason, and it's a vacation. So at least for me, I do like stuff like a little out of the ordinary, like mixed in with stuff I regularly do. It's like I wake up at the hotel or the B&B, kind of like start my morning up as if I was at home, just because like that's kind of like what it looks like, or at least when I wake up. And then eventually, like I'm like in an area where I should be like asking questions and like looking around like confused. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna explore the city. I even like dressed up a little bit, and then you start passing like people that are regularly here all the time, and then not this early because at least from my anecdote, I was started the morning off and it's probably like midday by the time I'm like walking around, but Cassian's at the bar looking like a hot shot at the whatever this is, asking for like a specific girl, kind of like bringing up some attention from their regulars. But he's like there for like a completely different reason. It's like, hey, yeah, she won't ever flirt with you, dude. Like, don't even bother there. Even though she like did something out of the ordinary and like you yourself wouldn't know as Cassian, but at least to like the third and fourth person in this like scene, they just it kind of looked like she was giving them the eyes, but she was probably just like, oh look, a new person, and maybe like mixed in with like a whole lot of other stuff, but it's like obviously like here. I'm not closing that off right now. Like, you have yet to give me a reason to. Then it tailors off into like, oh yeah, I'm like looking for my sister. You giving off like even more like of that vibe, like the people at the bar are trying to like give off. Like this would be like my whole thesis on like the whole set of episodes right here. But right now it's like just kind of like this mood. I really don't want to like contextualize too much. I already am, obviously, but you hear like man out of time or like man out of place, and then like those phrases right there just kind of give off a trying to escape thing or voyeurism, hitting all these like points that like people come here like purposely trying to do, like that perfect, like, oh, like slide over to the bar and like chat up to these people, but you really don't want to be there. But you create this attitude and like atmosphere for like everyone else. It's like, oh well, like this is the only place that looked like there was people, so like I didn't want to like be like that. And am I controlling the room? Like I really can hand it over. Like, maybe I'll like be kind of mean, like just like in your head, like, oh yeah, that'll do it. Then like it happens, like Cassian slams his drink down, like, oh man, that's what I always do. And then I must like, oh man, but you know, like even the people like on script, like expecting to say certain things, even like hey guys, like I don't want to give you my name, like, but that's awfully sweet. Like, you're looking for your sister? Oh, but I can't look like that for these people here. Like, I'll give you the huge. I wasn't even expecting anything day changing, much less like world changing. Like, I'm gonna start asking questions, like, where are you from? Like, hey, what's up? At least I was a regular there, like, here with the assumptions, or a worker is like, oh, it's not the guy that orders queso all the time. I thought you were him. He can usually come in at this time. I'm not mad at him, but like, we have more than queso here. That's all he eats. I'm just like shoving a piece of dialogue like right there, that's like to ruin the whole thing. But like, if the scene were to go on any longer, I'm sure he would like have him like order food since he's not there for like, you know, solicitations or whatever. Maybe even a guy that's like come around like, really, well, what's up with your dong? Like, I'm not even like that, but like, we all here for a reason. Like it's the size, like the performance is too high. Like what is it, the maintenance? Like I seen you over there. You being too picky. Like I'm so sad because I didn't know none of these like conversations are naturally gonna happen. It just brings in some like dating stuff. I'm not gonna bring in. Like, oh yeah, I'm not even that curious. I'm not like that, but like for real, like, what's up? I need to know so I can just walk by normally. This is gonna start happening again and again after you did it the first time, so I need some answers. I guess that would be like if you like chopped it up at the writer's table. I need some answers would be the only thing that survived the storyboard. But for like this, it'd feel like it would be like for like the whole rest of the time, or maybe like the half of the season or something like that. Just answers. I'm just letting you know now. I'm not making fun of it. All my best ideas are like do the worst ones first, like at least out loud, and then all that's left is like the good ones. At least how I do stuff and how I imagine or want to like impose on like certain people that they do. Like if I had my way, the DVD would have like just a terrible like part where they're like coming up with lines, but I guess it would just kind of be like the bloopers. Like outfit solid, don't even have to call them costumes. Set awesome, like I could probably keep that around and no one would even say anything about it. The only thing with some of those things is like you wouldn't be able to like replace it, and you know like how some certain things would be like appreciated so much it would kind of like wear. But again, this is like just the set for this season, so I'm not a realtor trying to sell you on this exquisite like business. But yeah, I like these little bubbles, even though it's kind of like, you know, there's like these girls like in there, like about when these guards get here, like kind of like at least in my vacation analogy slash anecdote, I'll be like pretending like I lived there anyway. And just be like, hey, where's Main Street at? It's like, it's that way. Like, it's like, oh, no, it isn't. Like, okay. And I just kind of pointed because I didn't want to like have that conversation. But it was like the right way. It's like, man, I don't even know what Main Street is. Like, I'm the guy that like stands there all the time. But for Cassian, it's like, oh, well, looks like I'm this guy now. Like, I may or may have not been, but probably could have been mostly so versatile, but now like as if it echoes through existence. All the locks and like doors like set into place. It's pretty much like the open alligator kind of like logic theorem like symbol. Not to get into specifics, but it's the key with the little carrot slash like arrow pointing to the left. Right now it'd be Cassian on one side of the arrow where the point is, and then you'd write on the other side everything else that happens, and then as like a definer. But this is like only to where you'd be able to find him if you were looking for him, or like come across anything on the open end of the carrot. Everything would point to someone like Cassian, but Cassian exists, so it's all pointing to Cassian. But again, that's just something you file together. You put it away for later. These two guys from the bar and the alleyway now kind of seem like they didn't really get anything from the interaction, so like they needed to get further in a rather like incorrect or like insensitive, really, like compared to like regular, like, oh, like I want to know more about that person, but like kind of fight happened instead, because you're only like trying to like reach for like friend like relationship builders, but you keep like doing stuff like you would do for like a significant other, so it kind of comes off a little callous. They're like not trying to get into intimate zone, but like I guess like this is like all that other stuff like in the phrase of their intimate stuff, but it kind of makes them seem like impotent, just like dry firing, like hey, like insulting people, like, but like in a learning way, like all the people that die like learn their lesson. But it's a show, so they have to like do something to like end their character arc. So like they die. Like that's my theory for some of the stuff. Just so it's a little more interesting, and they can like everyone else can carry on with their struggles. But yeah, like those two guys were like trying so hard to like learn about them more, so they can like put that into themselves or something like that. But like if you change the light of it, even like if they would have maybe even like warning them, but obviously in this like they were kind of like threatening them like in their town. It's like, hey, like did you park over there? Like employees are supposed to park over here. Like you're going the wrong way. You seem like kind of like one of our higher ups. But like they wouldn't be doing like this last part like you, but like come on, man, like what's up with you? Like oh maybe if I mention like the all this the IDs and stuff, you'll like know who I am and like talk to my title, but not me as a person. It would be even worse like in a different language, or like just like in like my vacation metaphor, like like it's supposed to be like an inside joke, but it's like, oh yeah, like all the bad neighborhoods over there, huh? Right? Haha. Yeah, man, you crazy. Come on, say it. Say it. No, man, you crazy. No, not like that. No. Say it like I say it. Come on, dude. I'll know everything's fine, and there won't be like a news report or any kind of report about it. There'll just be a rapport, and we'll come together as brothers. Or as citizens of the city. I thought you were an out-of-towner, so like I already got ready to like sound kind of like over with people visiting so often. But even if you are, like, man, come on, man. Oh, he shot. Oh, crap. I don't even know this part. Like there's like unwritten rule about like doing certain things, and now they're gone. Like, and so is Cassian, but like in a different way. Like at least with me, they were like, it's like, oh yeah, you could park there, like do it half and half, like. But and then I go talk about like the most popular food place like everyone likes, like it's like, oh crap. And then like they're like testing random things out, but like I really couldn't park there. But like obviously someone notices it as a mistake, and like it's like, oh, he's only gonna stay here for like 2 days anyway. Like he's gonna continue on with his road trip. But every time like I come back, like there's the same people come like, so I'm just like, oh, it's that guy. Like I would at least have to come back once, but like I was like slowly like building on like the same road trip. So like they like kept seeing me building on the legend of the guy that parked in that no parking spot. But it really like adds like to someone else's like logic carrot, and like all these overlaps will like lead to something, but just remember it for later. It just seems like to me like broadly like it's like a unfulfilled like pieces of like a person that should be there. Like we have president now, but like before, like we were just some people like here. It's like, oh yeah, this is like a little like something that we should like probably make like an officer, a sheriff, or a mayor. But it's like a person of the community. Like back in the 50s, it's like, oh okay, yeah, like this guy kind of like held it all up. Like afterwards, like post like existence. But at the time, it's like, oh, you probably could have done without him. But if you want to do that again, like, yeah, you kind of need that guy. But like, he's kind of like a mystery, like, kind of like what they say about the first lady. She's like, oh, like she actually has like a governmental function. It's like, oh yeah, yes she does. Like, and it kind of seemed like life and like people are like kind of like urging you or hurting you really. And it comes in between like these next scenes, like Cassian gets back to Ferrex, and like maybe even Marva was even the droid B2, I think. I really don't want to forget his name because I like the droid, but Marv and B2 are part of. I mean, they showed the landscape and it's like these ruined ships and stuff. Like at least those two could have been like a part of this other chain of command, like using that slightly different to urge along like society. It's like, oh yeah, like there's the guy that created the town, but like there was someone that took care of the person that created the town. So what big shoes to fill, or like clothes to, you know. And seeing how like construction crews are like right now, they're kind of like not in a hurry, so they can still have the reminder of what was there. But I'm sure it's like in reverse. It's like, oh, like all these like old buildings that they like, made, but like they're probably like still nice looking. Just like again, like playing with like visual effects. chain of command. They definitely did it on purpose, but like, since no one pointed it out, I'm gonna say like I just like discovered it. I mean, sometimes it's like a natural thing, like have a creative like knack and vision, and like it's just kind of like passed to you a little bit, like that one scene. Like I forget what it's from, but it's like some painter's just like looking at his easel and like his canvas is like yeah, yes. He's just like scribbling like on there with his paintbrush, or even like a builder and like they're inventing something, and everything just kind of like falls into place. And again, like not even like meaning to go back to that subject, but like getting like a partial inheritance, but it's like a map and it's like a scavenger hunt, and like there's like 4 other people just to create this like person for the rebellion. Technically, like it almost like ruins it if I mention like the other movies. But they like found like the biggest part where they can like maneuver and like meld like whatever they want together without like being like constricted by like the other stuff. Just kind of like they're handing out like all the props, but like you might as well imagine a bunch of kids like, oh, I wanted the lightsabers. Like then like there's like those kids like, yeah, I got this cool like revolver blaster. No one's got this right now. And like that kid like plays with it better than the kids with the lightsabers. And just like by broad like scope of like uh, results, like that was the better one. We're like slowly locating like who like the other like or like whom's and or what group of people like they were really like focusing on like as like the spectrum of Star Wars. Was it the actors? Like no. Was it George Lucas? But no. But you were pretty close. Oh, I guess he just calls them B. And Marva. I like it when Cassian's on the street or anyone's like on the Ferric Street. It's like a showcase. Like it's like at least that's what I imagine. Like we heard about this like months ago, so we got all individually and then some of us in a group got some of this stuff like put together. Pretty cool. This wall of gloves just makes me think like they're all like ex like goalies or like lacrosse people, like still like reeling off of like anyone's like awesome like block. It's like yes. Even if all these like workers are like fully interactive like characters, it's like usually like if you are there like mostly like through the week, you're like, oh, you can kind of, oh, who's the stranger here? Like, even if like they do know someone, like, just like just side eye them, like, oh, something's happening. Like, just with the little guy with the pipe bomb or whatever that was like, in mind, like, just a little taste of something, but it wasn't even like, it's like, oh, a little taste of someone's poison's like someone's cure, or however the phrase goes. Or even their cure is their choice of poison. I like all these like custom hard hats or whatever they are. There's like dripping out in like their work uniform. Some look like the fire retardant thing or like the extreme temperature like jackets. Like I like how like this guy's like, and then like the Brasso guy like Cassian goes to get a cover for an alibi, I guess. Like barely even tries, like he just adds on to like the narrative that Cassian wants him to like cover for or focus on. Like eventually like a certain job can get like repetitive and like it looks like this guy's like is like taken to it like fish and water, but Brasso's just like, hang on, like, if that's what you're gonna say, like, I want this to sound right, like, do not disrespect the nog, man, like, I would only bust it out on great occasions, like, I have actual, like, determination or will in this story. I was mad the rest of the night. Yeah. And then that nog kicked your ass. Or butt. Like he's got like a song request while they're driving or something. Just like adding to his alibi. It's like, come on, like, you're not gonna show you how much spine I have? Like, look at my back. Look. This has gotta be just like some physical reason that I should have some spine. Oh man, and the scene is Cyril. He's probably like, the guy he's talking to is probably like the best boss ever. Like, they get stuff done like all the time. I know what it seems like, but like, he's only telling him to like, kick his feet up only because like, there's like nothing he can really do because like, they're all like responding to him. The guy that's like about to leave the meeting. Hold on, let me find his name. Chief Hine? I wouldn't be like totally off base saying like Luthen probably met with him like once. I know he's not in this, but not yet, but he's the kind of person that like Luthen was or is or about to be technically like a business owner or like supervisor of some sort. And technically like all the workers are pretty pampered, but like things are going well, so they're gonna try to improve whatever it is that they like know they barely have a grasp on. It happens like everywhere, no matter what. No matter like what job. Even if you have your own small business, like you'll like come like look around at the other small business. And if you're like lucky, like you just like retain like this one little nugget of like, oh yeah, I will start buying coffee, like, or something about stock, but only like pertaining to like the shelves. And even though you're not like an officer, you're like one of these guys that looks like you used to be a policeman, and you're like keeping these workers safe for some reason. In my opinion, doing God's work. Like the amount of stuff like is that Chief Haynes like fingertips is like he's almost just like, alright, well, Cyril, if that's what you want, you're gonna get exactly what you want, but like I don't think you understand the whole picture. Like once I put it into the machine, like the world or like the society machine, like I don't think that you're not ready, but you are jumping like certain turnstiles and like not the hurdles, and then like eventually off to the side, like it's like, yeah, and that's why like I don't take days off or whatever. Like he has it in a certain way to like where like everything is like suspended and like placed. It's like, all right, well, if this is too much, then nothing will change, but or even too little. God willing, it being too little. It's like, just remember, like, that's all you really had to do. I still wouldn't have been happy about it, but kick your feet up right here. Like, just be a little obnoxious, like, by yourself somewhere. But I guess I got a business trip. Nice uniform. I personally would use your looks. Like, I'm just saying, you're probably hiding some nice booty. You could have been my real Deus Machina of like looking good and feeling good, but alright, duty. He says like all this stuff, and like if you just isolate this like one scene with the Chief and Cyril, he does that's what happened. Like To Cyril, he had kind of like despicably like explains it away, but probably like these two kids like probably that know the chief or something, and they were under his watchful eye. Probably like ran away or tried to make it like an extreme excuse to like not come back to work because like where Cyril and the chief and those people work, they all know each other pretty well, at least enough to where it would kind of be like kind of not a good look if they just like quit. So he's like, no, they'll be back and we'll probably rehire them. Otherwise, like, I technically will hire them somewhere, other place that I kind of have a hand in. They are at least attracted to, like, places where I can have a say about it. I literally did this, like, all before. Like, you're just backpedaling, Cyril. Like, but I can't tell you that. But you were my guy. Like, you were, like, how I was. But, like, I guess I can't, like, do that anymore because I'm literally past it. It's junking it up because, like, it's like, oh, like, that's how you are now, right? Like, no, like, you're like how I was. How you are? No. How what? You know what? I'm just gonna kind of like keep to my own group that's kind of like already like there and I don't have to do too much work. We don't even like really look the same, but like some of us like you gauge us like that a little bit, but unfortunately, like I'll wait for the dust to settle. He's probably gonna go on a vacation, so it's business trip anyway. Just because that's how it's gonna work, and there's gonna be people that's trying to impress him, like Zero. To at least like what I feel like is the correct interpretation of this scene. Just to sum it up, he's just looking at a mirror of his younger self, or even just like his self before he like gets to work even. It's all there, it's not all gone, it's not burnt out, but that's all you'll see, despite him trying to show you like whatever it is. Those guys that died, that's me enjoying myself, but that's like too much enjoying myself, or too little. You're me at work. Well, you're me fixing something, not necessarily at work. See those guys? That's me minding my own business out the window. We're all in this. You have to say. You just gotta work it in and like put some labels on it. Like you're making this like seem like all like really elitist, but you're just not like not as thoughtful like as you really think you are. Only to a point. But next part is Bix. This literally could be in like Cassian's like sister like this whole time anyway, but or like the stand-in for him or her. He's like, yes, all of this, like that's what I wanted. Just cause like I knew like I had one. This is so funny because he's like, blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah. Keep like our thing going, like parts like, and then like her boyfriend comes in. Look at me. Look what I am if I have my sister. I'm so soft and like light. That's literally me in like another life. I probably already did that. Just let me struggle a little bit. It's like all these like body language. I'm like just now noticing like the second time around. I finally have the motivation to do something different or the same as before. But it was so short then. Like, looks over at the boyfriend. The Wabani run. He's like, no. It's coming tomorrow. What is it? Irish? Like Cassian's like not like actively trying to like be original, but like in a place like this, it kind of looks like there's like only like so much room for like a certain character or trait of a person without like being like neglected. I know that's like the silliest like interpretation, but or like inference, but you kind of need that back there, like in your head, like if you're a certain type, so you can like complete this like loop, so you can have like other things going on that you purposely like want to happen. It's like a free like avenue for like everyone here already knows too. It's like oh yeah, like I could be that person in your life. Again, it's like nothing you really say unless it's like your husband or your wife or like your kids even or someone like like that wants to be influenced or like easily influenced. Otherwise, like you'll just be like miscellaneous or like the wild card in like everyone's life. Like whatever it is Cassian's like onto, it's like oh like it will be like it will catch everything. And again, to use like another phrase in a different way, it's like oh it catches like all 22 points, and it's like redundant on purpose, but it will be like effortless. And he's like struggling like with like working everyone in. Like okay, like oh they never like really depended on me, like because I'm borrowing money from them, but like they wanted like my presence there. I guess this is like a reflection episode, and again, not the way you think. Vix's boyfriend's like Cassian, like if he like lets another aspect of his personality like rip. Well, Bonnie, he probably says, tries his accent out, like, but when like her boyfriend's like actually in the scene, he's like, yeah, I know she has a type, but obviously she needs the contrast. It always like again following Cassian's like starts as something else, and, like at least this time it's like closing in on something he would actually be involved in. Like, he almost walks off. He's like, yeah, I'm the combined part, the compare part. I get it too. She's got a lot going on, even though she's like doing whatever you think she's doing. And then just that whole picture face thing at the end is like I won't let go, or I did let go. It's one of those uh, what feels like crazy moments for people. Like if there's an audience following around, it's like, why would you do that? Like, is it so the story keeps going? Like girl, this isn't TV. It's like, well, circumstance, like, put it into the world machine, and like, once it starts, it's not gonna like just stop. You can either start radiating that, or like work your whole life on snuffing it out, and both's a lot of work. But there could be a balance. Who knows? Probably someone you wouldn't really like leave it to let you know. And it could have been like from the very beginning. And I think that's why it keeps flashing back to the jungle, like letting us see, not even like know. Like, oh yeah, the answer's right there. But now it's like reduced or increased to looking for a sister. How can I complete this like spiraling out while I gotta keep it up and keep it going? It's really kind of in there, but yeah, there's Vix's part. Even like some similar theming with the Chief Hain and Cyril right there, and we get some time with some like more completed parts, probably most likely from like the surrounding area to go back with the setting. They're all salvaged and individually working, just waiting to be set up or put together with something. One of the longer flashbacks comes up. It's like, oh, they're doing something, but it's really showing you like the state of what they were expecting, I guess. It kind of looks like you really weren't supposed to be like included on this part. Like all our pieces like are like individual. Like you're like a corner piece. If this is like a puzzle, like oh yeah, this is where you would start and you get the border. Like everyone else is like a crazy like single piece. You're just supposed to like find a nice spot and like do up the spot. But like they're like out in the fray, like but then there's like all these like pieces that look like other pieces. It's like, oh, is this a corner piece? Like somehow out of like a grand quantum calculus of it all. This looks like that, or this tastes like that, even though it's like two different things. This smells like a color, and Cyril thinks he's like the lowest person in the totem pole. You gotta like this universal spot, dude. Like, I could be wrong, but it just looks like Cyril's like misconceiving like all these moments. He's always reacting like he's like walking around like butt ass naked, and then like those people in the hallways like, ah, Cyril has a nice butt. What a queer guy. Even though I myself been pointing out his butt, like man, I cannot stop with that. Good thing I'm not rapping, right, guys? Oh yeah. I was actually rather commenting on that. He looks kind of nice, but I'm sure he does. Do you think he's not all work either? There's some play in there. Oh no, him? I bet he's all work. I don't know. I don't know if you were on to that much, but I haven't the faintest clue. Do you guys think he likes everyone bossing him or bossing us around? Like, all right, we're done with that. You don't have the foggiest clue of what we're talking about, are you? What? They're gonna go over there and try to see if Cyril likes being bossy. Probably try to pretend that they don't know how to operate something and needs hand-to-hand instructions. Just out of nowhere. The call on that one. I'd make a really terrible like screenplay. Oh, man. It's one of those times where it looks like it's like another like come down of the alley scene where with the two guards at the beginning. I know you don't have the money, but I was hoping you were trying to appease me and invite me over or just hang out for a while. And like Vetch is like usually the alien friend that just kind of like stands there, like gets to enjoy the scene and then goes home. A lot can happen to him, and like it would seem like nothing happens to him according to the friend group. But I keep seeing all these like would-be like characters. If I like de-escalated it into like something like super normal. Man, Tim, Bix's boyfriend, like he's really like it kind of looks like he's like trying to like have her make him complete the scene because he's like super motivated for her. He's like, you're the damsel and I'll be the hero. I'll take like little supplemental things like for every day-to-day thing, like flirting or whatever. Like one of those like dialogue scenes where you get to pick and like it changes like slightly, but not the outcome. But it's like how they like present you the story. But she really like can't be on him all the time, so he's now kind of like suspicious captor or in pursuit of her, even though like they're like together already. It's like, oh yeah, like pause a little bit, but like this is like where you like buy me flowers or surprise me or something. And he's like supposed to like dice it up a little bit, like the open end route he could take. I'm sure there's like more, but he's like, oh yeah, I'm more of this than Cassian. But he's like trying to be like Cassian, only as so far as like a broad perception of him from not having to talk to him too much, or if Bix mentions him barely, but I'm sure she wouldn't. Like Tim could like totally get in on like the helping her or helping her with Luthen, but I guess he's only got like two like different characters, like devoted boyfriend and the person that he thinks she needs. It kind of makes our like, little trinity. It's like, oh, okay, well, can't really describe it, but it's like Cyril, Pin, Cassian, Pinpoint, and then Bix, Pinpoint, and then that's where all the threads would spray out, at least on this first episode. Only as so far as like broad themes and character goals, but it's nothing like you could like set for yourself to like have all this happen if you're trying to recreate this. Man, it looks like Cassian could have been like the little like Lord of the Flies like mayor. I forget like what character that was in there. Like I don't know. Sparks Notes. And created by Tony Gilroy. Episode ends and everyone's on the move. But it really seems like all the characters you should like keep an eye on. Like if this was like a real life thing, like stagnant people, like quote quote stagnant. Oh man, I had a lot of stuff for the second episode too, but it's already getting up there time. So yeah, this was a Headspace for Andor Season 1, Episode 1. I hope there's like other videos on this or podcast, but thanks for joining me on that one. Next time we do the Andor anything, we'll start up on the next second episode. That's called That Would Be Me. Man, these are pretty named pretty well too. Yeah, see ya.